or not, that was just a gimmick. A jump scare designed to keep you on your toes. Sometimes this game does that. It hits you with fakes as a way to remind you of your own mortality. Don't take it from me, but I find the lack of security to be highly suspicious. So far, we've only seen just one guy, one prick. The same prick that choked this guy to death. Rest in peace. So where did they all go? Cowards and fakes. Speaking of fakes, this reflection fits the definition like a glove. Not only is Waylon missing, but the things being reflected don't match the room we're facing, or it's facing. Not in the slightest. So, go figure. And suddenly things have mellowed out to the point where, other than all the blood and giblets strewn across the floor, and that alarm blaring, you can hardly tell anything is wrong. Trust and believe me, we're going to check out this room behind the door in just a moment. The one with someone bashing on the door just then. Anyway, someone is clearly stuck and trying to get out. I just gotta see to it that it happens. Now, one thing I always wanted to point out is this body picked apart to giblets. Technically, he doesn't even exist in the game as a live NPC, for lack of a better term. Everyone else here, the science team and security, you can see them alive and unalive. But this fella with, wicked bangs and a fancy blue shirt, you just don't ever get to see him other than, like this. If my experience is anything to go by, the only other time you run into this type of person, this type of NPC, is when one gets his noggin ripped clean off by Chris Walker in the prison block. That's the exact same guy. Well, not the exact same guy per se, but actually I take all that back, all of it. Upon closer inspection, I can confirm they are different NPCs. And how can I tell that? Well, the bangs aren't there. See? No bangs. So, fuck it. So much for being a nitpicking fuck. I've learned that lesson the hard way. Hello? Okay, see that Ella trapped in the airlock? Okay, we'll get to that part in just a few minutes. But for now, I'm just going to put things on hold while I roll back and show off a few secrets so many would overlook. To do that, we just need to head back the way we came, basically. So first and foremost, there is this locked door, or so you would think, but didn't we hear someone behind that door banging on it not 2 minutes ago? So there's that. If you head further up the hallway, there's another door, this time behind this film that seems to be impenetrable. So it seems we have our work cut out for us. We need to figure out how to get past both barriers and check things out from inside out. Yeah, so remember I said that we can ride certain doors in a game to quote unquote violate the game's boundaries and, slip outside the map? Well, there's just the right kind of door back up the hallway, the same room we emerged from early on. If you manage to boost yourself on top of the door, and there's an entire glitch that allows you to do that, there is an entire world of possibilities and things to look forward to. So just up the hallway, drop down into the area where we had seen a patient being choked to death by a security guard. Now this time, however, we get to see these guys firsthand before they even get to tussle it out in the hallway. Obviously, outside that scripted scene, they're both gonna be locked in a T-pose, nothing like you would expect. A bit further up, we get to slip behind that film and try to interact with the door, the mysterious door. It's gonna be locked, and from the look of it, there's nothing but pitch black void over yonder. Last but not least, things look a lot more promising for that last door with what you would think was someone or something bashing on the other side. If you shimmy along the wall with your camcorder out and nail just the right angle, a deeper look inside is possible to reveal a dead security guard with his head dunked in the toilet bowl. Oddly enough, there's a battery right next over. But even if we somehow managed to drop down into the bathroom, which is impossible, to grab that battery, we would be stuck with no way out. Now this indicates one thing. This bathroom may have been intended to be accessible at one point, but for whatever reason, it never made the cut. And that's why you could not pay me to not love this game. So much mystery and deep cuts if you've got the eyes for it. Now let's listen to this dude.
I'm a doctor.
Hello?
You're not security.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a patient like you. Stole these clothes from a dead body I found. You gotta get me out of here, please. Just push the button, open the door, we can get out of here together.
So stop. So he just flip-flopped from being staff to being a patient, like in 5 seconds flat. Now that is impressive. So I gotta ask you guys, which one story do you lean towards as the most credible one? Because personally, I don't buy it. I don't buy that. Like, he sounds nothing like the rest of the loonies here. He's too concise and clear. Now, one would make sense to argue, well, Waylon is just as sane and he's a patient, so eat that. Well, yeah, that's true. So he could be either, but my take, the way he gets stumped the second he realizes we're not security, that's a dead giveaway. He's more likely science team than patient, or actually he's more likely patient than science team. Actually, he's more likely science team than patient. A patient trying to slip out in stolen clothes makes sense, but nobody else has pulled that off. Not even Waylon. And take it from me, he's about as sane as they come. Alrighty, why don't you just stand there for a second, looking like an adult magazine cover while I pan around with my camera. Just a few curiosities to point out, right? So first and foremost, this yellow highlighter bears a name on it, a very specific name, Morin. That's Philip Morin, a bigwig at Red Barrels, the studio behind this game. Not only is it large, but it's also yellow. You can't go wrong with that. Right next over is another pan, also Morin. Both have carried over from the first game. Makes sense considering both games overlap. Now let's back up a step or two to appreciate some fine art over here. Now we've seen these drawings before. Again, this is straight out of the first game, all of it. Big piss in the trees somewhere. Whatever. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I never quite figured out these doodles or what they are supposed to represent. I even tried looking them up on the internet, hoping there would be a hint or maybe an explanation, but no such luck. I'm calling it now. This one represents Mount Massive. See the big gray rock or whatever? It's probably a mountain, right? It's a safe bet. A big mystery is whether these were made by someone's kid and they just kept it around as a memento, or they came straight from one of the patients. I mean, after all, we are at a mental asylum. These fellas are way down the wrong end of the spectrum. All right, we're done messing around. Time's wasting. Let's smash that big yellow button and get the hell out of Dodge. Things look pretty grim from where I stand, but if I step on it, I might just whiz by. All right, here goes. Whoa! Come on, man. Smack that face. Bash it in. Come on. Smack that face. Come on, bash it in. Damn. Woo! But with all due respect, that scene was so sloppy and wonky. And I'm not just talking about parts of it. I'm talking about the whole goddamn thing from the second that silo door whooshed open to where the doc just drops dead. First of all, I mean, look at the way he just goes limp the second his head hits the glass. Yeah, that would have hurt in real life too, no doubt. But would that knock you out cold right away to the point where someone just holds you up with one hand while you basically just drop limp and they smash your face into the glass? I don't know. Also, I know that these patients have enhanced strength and stamina, but it takes immense physical strength to just hold someone's body up like that with one hand, So that's kind of bullshit, all of it. On a separate note, I'm starting to wonder if that was the same guy we met earlier, the one who wanted us to carve up a dead doctor. Oh, take your goddamn blade, slide it down your butt crack. I'm not carving this guy up.
Too good for the likes of us.
Looked the exact same. He kind of sounded the exact same too. Anyway, we just unlocked a new note, so let's give it a look. Poor little Waylon. Never seen a man die before. And it's understandable, seeing death leaves a mark, especially when it's like multiple instances in a short enough time frame. Now, funny, we should take note of whether the doctor was legit or just messing with us. They're all sick. No real difference between them. Now, I never thought about that. What if some of these staff have been affected by the effects of the morphogenic engine, plus the shock of the outbreak and all the gore and death, and they are now practically losing their sanity with the best of them? That's a really interesting perspective. Kudos to you, Waylon. I figured you weren't completely useless. Now, that reminds me I have a few other notes to catch up on, kind of a backlog. Might as well square them away while I'm at it. So the next one is a radio in the prison. I figure prison means prison block here in the asylum, not an actual prison that's nearby. Murkoff would never set up shop so close to the right side of the law. So there's a shortwave, and we are to make it far enough to use that radio and call for help. Again with this, come on, Waylon. Waylon just won't quit his bitching. Lisa, I should have been this. I should have done that. Get a grip, man. We screwed up, yeah, but we can mend our ways and make it right. I suggest we floor the gas before someone or something comes snooping around ready to tear me a new one. Oh, fudge. Just when I was starting to feel lonely, the wall rider himself honors me with his presence. All right, let's fall back and slip inside the locker. That might help us shake this damn thing. Uh-huh, yeah, so much for shaking it. That fucking chance. And there I go, dying again. Well, live and learn. That's what they always say, live and learn. So we're not making the same mistake twice. Instead of slipping inside that locker, we're actually going to make a break for it. Just run. We're not stopping to look back. Not for a goddamn second. So let's just slip inside the silo. And guess what? While we're inside, the wall rider can't get inside. So, while I'm at it, might as well just stop and examine this dead scientist. Also, the reflection is all kind of messed up again. See how it's reflecting something different, not the actual silo thing. Damn, I'm picking this damn game apart. I should probably just lay off a tad. As for the dead scientist, he's done for. Finished. Now, I'm not buying it any more now than I did before. He looks nothing like a patient. He got that slick face that just says it all. I'm a PhD douche with an itch to run experiments on human beings. Something like that. So not saying you had it coming, man, not my place to judge, but you got yourself into this. So, live and learn, except it seems you've had your share of living. No, wait, I'm not a patient. I'm a doctor. I stole these damn rags to fit in and save my cheeks from being ripped apart by... Come on now. Why does it always have to be this way? I get left behind while you guys stack up furniture and shit to keep me out. So that must be where we're headed. Except now we have to look for a detour. All thanks to that damn doctor. Gee, thanks. You know what? That guy was on point to call doctors liars, because all doctors, at least up in this bitch, are liars. So, okay, let's roll back just a little and I'll show you something, guys. There's something you're gonna love. We can actually see this entire cutscene unfold before it even unfolds. Now, that's a lot to unpack, which I get, so let me show you what I mean instead. Remember we used that door way back in the beginning to slip behind the map's boundaries and explore? Great. Now, we could have explored a lot further, but I didn't want to deviate from the story too much, so I kind of had to cut it short. By virtue of the same door glitch, we can actually shimmy along the silo section. Obviously, the doctor in the silo is still alive and locked in a T-pose, because we're doing it all leading up to his death, And now that we've made it this far and we're past the silo, we can actually drop down into this lobby to see this. The same door that would have normally been locked down by the time we even made it this far is now wide open, and we can have a look outside. And of course, we're blocked from, setting foot beyond this point. Go figure, this door must have a force field or something. But if you double back up the same hallway and rush by that other silo door, right across from where we emerge under normal circumstances. Now this happens. The same scientist will come out of nowhere barreling down the hallway, headed for the exit like he did the last time. Meanwhile, his pals inside the silo will act like they're piling stuff up to keep me out before warping out of existence completely. And now one last thing I wanted to bring up is the weird cries and screams coming out of Silo 1, the same one we stepped out of not long ago. But take a listen to this. I'll be damned if that doesn't sound like the doctor being bashed to death by the patient. So either the game is stuck playing the same audio for some reason, or what? I'm all out of theories that might explain it in a way that would make sense. Also, pay attention to the reflections that kind of like slip through the cracks in the wall. That doesn't check out. That really doesn't check out. That's not the silo that we saw earlier. Boom, and that checks off the last one. Now let's clippity-clop, time's wasting. We're not getting any closer to that radio, right? Remember, we gotta find that radio in the prison block. Sorry, my anxiety is a bit out of hand today. I kind of relapsed last night, Had a drink, figured I'd be fine. Look at me now, I'm a mental wreck. If there is anything I've learned from this, it's Tipple and anxiety don't get along very well. Make sure to slip behind these oxygen tanks to pick up a battery. It's right there waiting for you. Some batteries, and this is my experience, are instanced, right? While others only pop up randomly in like predetermined spots. I hope that makes any sense. So as far as I know, this one spawns 100% of the time. But don't take it the wrong way. I hate nitpicking as much as the next guy, but that view outside is just too bad. It's so flat. Looks like a two-dimensional backdrop more than anything else, really. Well, if the last view was bad, this one is just downright horrid. Clearly someone was cutting corners and slapping this thing together, slapdash, after way too many energy drinks. I'm just trying to fit that view in and kind of make sense of what that might be in relation to where we are, but I'll be damned if I can make sense of it. Anyway, nitpicking, no worries. Jank has been around since the dawn of video games, so I'm hardly surprised. Now look over here at these lovely blue barrels, each one labeled with, it's not a red barrel. Go figure, which is a carryover from the first game. Now, we would see these all over the place, playing the first game, but I feel you on that, bro. But taking a closer look will reveal this. It says this is not a red barrel, and that's just a direct nod towards the Red Barrel Studio, the same guys who made this game. Also, Red Barrel is the name of the studio, by the way. The more you know. Lovely. Now, talking about small things, makes me feel all warm and fuzzy, like I'm about to plop down on the john and relieve myself. Now, let's grab this file to read an email printout of big surprise, our boss. Now, what was the stupid fuck's name again? Blair. Jeremy Blair. There we go. So, couldn't think of a worse name for a villain. For some reason, just hearing the name Blair puts me in a bad mood, likely just because of that movie, the Blair Witch. So anyway, something about the name's phonetics and the way it just rolls off your tongue. Fuck it. So there's a lot to unpack concerning the contents of this email. But before we jump into that, let's first have a look at what it's all about. So it turns out that somewhere, sometime not long after putting us in this place as a patient, Jeremy emailed Helen Grant, not Granite, the litigation department lady. So basically this email concerns me and my family, me. That son of a tavern wench, can you imagine the goddamn nerve? Anyway, he asked Helen Grant to keep an eye out for my wife, and should my wife put in any requests or information about me, Jeremy wants to be involved personally. He says that sometime between putting me in this situation and writing this email, he made a personal visit to my wife over in Leadville. That's the closest town around, obviously my last place of residence. Obviously, my wife had quite a few things to say about that, none too polite, but at least Markov promised to pay my insurance, which, has to count for something. Now, the punchline, though, is Jeremy asking Helen to let him know if my wife, Lisa, tries to get around him or continues to press the issue. In that case, he would like to handle that matter personally. So basically, what it says is, we put your husband in the hospital. We're here to pay your bills, pay your insurance, so long as you don't talk. The second you start to make a nuisance of yourself, you're fucked. And now on to the fun stuff. There is a thread on Reddit that got me thinking and wondering and figuring out if Outlast Whistleblower, if Outlast Whistleblower takes place 2 hours after we sent that email to Miles, then how did Jeremy Blair personally visit Lisa Park, my wife, in Leadville to tell her that, I resigned and have been admitted as a patient? After all, it's only been 2 hours. Someone made a really strong case. Leadville being supposedly about a 40-minute drive from Mount Massive, go there, talk to Lisa, drive back up, and sit down to put this email together sounds like a tight deadline if you're thinking about it. And that really got me feeling like, aha! I was like, finally we got red barrels by the balls. How are you gonna explain this one, huh? Until another person said this. Basically that 2 hours earlier time card, that we get at the beginning of the game, just says how long it's been since we got busted emailing Miles. However, between us being awake for the first time and the second time when, things actually go south all over the place, days could have passed, and that makes sense. A lot of sense, actually. Ooh, now that was a big one, but glad that's over. All right, let's move on. That is, as soon as I'm done staring into dark passages. Didn't I pick up this battery already? What the hell? Now, believe it or not, but playing this game for the first time, this is exactly where I got stumped for a good 15 minutes probably, just spinning around in circles trying to figure out where to go next. This lobby can be a little tricky to navigate, right? It's very easy to miss this way. Anyway, something is shorting out big time. We should probably get an electrician to have a look. Let's just shimmy along until we are ready to drop down. I almost said drop down. Someone already dropped the dead here. Now, psst. Now, I'm no expert, and obviously I've never heard an alive human being get carved up by a buzzsaw or a chainsaw, take your pick, but if I had to describe that, that's how I would describe that. So we're in what could easily be an old x-ray room, and it's been abandoned for a while. No way this place could have been used anytime recently, just from the look of it. By the way, most of these x-rays are just copy-pasted all over the place. No sense looking at them all. Just saying. Also, this entire place is giving me the heebie-jeebies, and that buzzsaw we heard earlier, look, it doesn't take a genius, right? I mean, if you've played Outlast. So by now you should have a pretty solid idea of how this game works. Essentially, it unfolds in phases. So, for each break, like right now, we're completely safe and sound, at least as far as we can get in this place. But there comes a point where the game has to throw a curveball at you. Meaning an enemy, and not just those random variants that come and go. I mean actual enemies like Chris Walker or Traeger. So if anything, it's been a while, and it's about damn time something like that happened to me, right? Okay, let's check out this door. I didn't figure I would make it work, so soon. Then again, it's kind of pointless because this wall is, as solid as they come. So I can't even clip through and, get kind of slip, behind the game's bounds. So anyway, let's keep going. There's really not a whole lot to look at over here. Just a bunch of empty rooms with, copy-pasted x-rays. Well, actually, no, wait. Let me roll back. I'm being a forgetful fuck. There is this. Take a look at this can of paint. Purple paint. There's a smiley face on it. Like, how cute is that? You wouldn't expect something like that in this sort of place. There's 2 more. By the way, what's really cool about this can of paint is that it's unique to this game only, to Whistleblower. I mean, you can't find it in the first game, which makes and doesn't make sense at the same time because, well, first of all, it's the same asylum. Why is it only in this part of the asylum that this can of paint can be found and not in other parts? But then at the same time, just because, there's a can of paint here doesn't mean it should be everywhere. Well, talk about being screwed. I'm pretty screwed for coming here. There's definitely someone over there. Damn, look at those butt cheeks. Ay, ay, ay. But anyway, that's the guy we heard. That's the buzzsaw in his hand. That's the same guy. And his name is Frank. We are about to meet him one-on-one. But for now, he's just kind of busy tearing into a human corpse with his mouth. Wow. He's got a pretty cool setup back here, I'll be honest. Like, it's an entire... Look at all this meat. Damn, this guy is packing on protein, right? When this guy dies, his tombstone should be saying something like, rest in protein. And this guy's head is missing. Also, his neck is kind of moving, like bobbing. Not even bobbing, but kind of like wiggling. Okay, what else is cooking tonight? Look, he's got these cans of beans. Dude, you have enough protein to last you a lifetime. Like, that's plant-based protein, right? And if today's science and statistics are anything to go by, that's even better than meat, right? Meat gives you cancer. You will die from cancer. Oh, God. Is he making stew from, like, bone marrow and... Oh, God. Mash them, boil them, stick them in a stew. Can you get sick from ingesting human flesh? Doesn't matter if it's been cooked. Funny thing is, I wanted to point out is the burners are on, but not the ones that's actually underneath the pots. So how's that stew even going to cook? You might get a better view if I switched my angle. Let me see. I'm just that curious. No, so either I'm blind or making this up for the sake of making this up, but my money's on those burners, like directly underneath the pots. They're not even on, but the stew is still boiling and bubbling, so something doesn't make sense. Whoa, that guy's eyes are glimmering in the dark. That's really unnerving. So if I was wondering how the hell he's been splitting apart these bodies, now I'm all caught up. And if you haven't noodled it all through by now, yeesh. So he made his own private pantry out of a cafeteria. Brilliant. As if Coke and beans wasn't enough, now he's cooking human fondue. What can I say? The guy's got expensive taste. Kind of makes you wonder how these fellas died. Like, it couldn't have been this Frank dude, or they would have made a run for it. I mean, they wouldn't just sit there waiting to get carved up by a maniac with a buzzsaw, now would they? Must have been a pretty quick way to go. Walrider, on the other hand, is known to leave bloody splatters and split them from limb to limb, and these guys look like they've been slit. And now look at that, you can't make that up. He's roasting his head in a microwave. Gee, you're not you when you're hungry, I suppose. All right, let's squeeze by. Oh, shit. Did you see that head go like, bam? It just blew up into giblets. Also, you can kind of catch the moment the head disappears entirely, like pops out of existence, just pop.
I love you.
Uh-huh. Whatever rocks your boat, man. So also, make sure to film this guy. This way we can unlock another node. That's sick. Why did I have to watch that? Now, a very curious thing about... So this is Frank, basically. And while we are here, until we set food, outside of this cafeteria and move on, he's harmless. He's just gonna stay here and continue to feed on this poor fella. But like Frank said, he loves him, so whatever. And the cool thing is that while there is an animation for that, and he will kind of switch, from one animation to another, depending on how long you stick around. So I'm just gonna hang around like I've got something to say, and
Look how you bleed from me. Wet, ready.
that's what she said. Wet, ready, red, wanting. Anyway, so I'm just gonna hang around and just show you what he does if you do hang around. So basically he'll switch from carving up this body using that buzzsaw to tearing into the body with his teeth. And sometimes it's going to be some time, you know. And the way he's just butchering the poor guy with that thing, I'm not sure if he's trying to get inside his bones to get that marrow or whatever. So there it is. We just made acquaintance with Frank. I always forget his last name. I think it should be like Manera or Manera, something like that. Some kind of French or Spanish last name. So it's too bad I can't grab a Coke on my way out. I could definitely use something cold right now, but whatever. Let's just clippity-clop. Let's put some pep in that step. I don't want to be in the same room with Frank, lest he should change his mind about carving me up, right? So, oh God, it's so dark, and I think I'm out of batteries too. This is insanely dark. I should find a new battery. There should be one right here. There we go. Let's just pop that new battery and move on. So 2 things about to mention about this area. It's kind of empty, for lack of a better term. Now there are a few newspaper clip outs and like playing cards, but we've seen those before. Obviously, have some French stuff here. Like I've already brought that up in my previous episodes. So let's just move on and not waste any time. So Frank, for now, he's harmless, right? He's not out to get us, not yet. So you can just relax. Don't do it when you want to do it. And yeah, I know the whole setup looks like it looks like it's leading up to something bad. And believe me, when you get this feeling playing this game, you're on to something. Trust your gut.
I think it's safe. Can you climb up? I'm coming, Cooper! I just have to lock them! There. I'm coming! Hold on!
Okay, so yeah, someone locked us out of being able to escape this place. So we need to find the key that would open this handcuff. Yeah, that's... God damn it. Some fucking day, huh? Also, screw you, Morin. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.